Former President Obama was back out last night. This is the first time since he was in Pittsburgh, and invoked the potential of sexism in his appeal to black men to support the vice president. Angela, should there be a course correction because there was so much backlash to that framework? Was it a mistake for the former president to say what he did or to say it publicly? What was your assessment of what we heard from former President Obama?
You know, I think that it's wonderful that President Obama is out hitting the trail for democracy, frankly. And what I think is a mistake is to let white folks escape the accountability that they must face for not showing up to save democracy themselves. Like, they want to get mad at presidential candidates, right, when they don't wear a flag lapel pin or they don't see you pledging allegiance to the flag. That's what they want to get upset about. Now, the face of patriotism to them looks like trying to tear down the Capitol in a terrorist attack on January 6, 2021. So the responsibility of saving democracy should be on the largest demographic in this country. That is white men and white women. I don't want to see a women's march with pussy hats come January if something doesn't go right. What I want to see is for them to march themselves to the polls, including today. We are in Detroit, Michigan, for an early vote rally. In Michigan, early voting starts next Saturday, which is my birthday, Victor.
Happy birthday.
But today in Detroit, it starts today. There's a big event at Pistons Land. We will be adjacent to that event, talking to folks, Detroit voters, about what they want to hear, about the agendas that matter to them, about the economy, about healthcare, about ensuring that democracy is preserved, even if it's not perfect. We're doing our part. It's time for white folks to turn their ire and their attention to each other to ensure they also do their part.
Victor, you've been to the barbershop and you know good and well Donald Trump does not see us for our humanity at all. One of our friends, Angela and I, in a group chat, and one of our friends texted this morning that Donald Trump is worried about his freedom. Vice President Harris is worried about yours. He has no interest in our humanity at all. But I want to be clear. I completely understand and respect the sanctity of space, safe spaces for Black people, and certainly barbershops and hair salons are that. My challenge to the media is the same way that white voters have cute little colloquial nicknames. We say things like soccer moms and NASCAR dads. So too can names be applied to Black voters. And so when you want to talk to Black people, it should not just be barbershops and beauty salons, but there's HBCU campuses. Howard University's homecoming is this weekend. This is the vice president's alma mater. Certainly folks there of all walks of life, of all socioeconomic backgrounds, have something to contribute. And then there are also spaces for Black voters. Yes, churches count as well, but so often you see people going to diners in the middle of nowhere, what they call flyover states. Well, there are places like Detroit, that's in a quote unquote flyover state. There's Cleveland, Ohio, that's in a flyover state. So there are different spaces I would challenge the media to explore and afford us the same depth and nuance that you have when you give to white voters.
17 days left. Is this the sprint to the end? Is it just getting out the vote, or does the vice president still have some convincing to do?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm glad to join you. And I heard my sisters before I was able to join. Victor, we'll have to follow up on this growing coalition conversation and where white women fit in it. But at this point, I think the vice president is making her closing argument, but I'm not so convinced that there's so many available voters out there that still need to be gotten. Her job at this point, I believe, and our job is about turnout, maximizing the folks who we know, if they show up, will make the right decision for our future and for themselves. But she's got to get out there, be everywhere. Politics is the math of addition and not subtraction. And of the two candidates in this race, there's only been one focus on growing their coalition, one focus on speaking to as many Americans as they can reach, and that's been Vice President Kamala Harris. And at this stage, our job now is to turn out every single person that we believe will get to the ballot box and make the right decision, Victor.